Hello my dear students and welcome to today's lesson 7C Vocabulary and Grammar for grade 9 Module 7 Lesson C Students Book page 79 and Workbook pages 75 and 76. Let's get started. Let's start with the learning objectives. Students will be able to 1. Form the opposites of some words by adding a negative prefix, for example, an or this, to the words. 2. Identify the structure of the comparative and superlative forms. 3. Make comparisons using as, not as, less than, the least of, and the irregular forms of adjectives. Now open your student's book page 79. 2. Vocabulary. Exercise A. Find the opposites of the following words in the text on page 78. The words are expected, happy, able, approve. Now pause the video, then find the opposites. Now let's check your answers. The first one, expected. And the opposite is unexpected. It's here in the text. The next one, happy, unhappy. Able, unable. Approve, disapprove. Well done, my students. This is exercise B in the student's book, page 79. Read the note here, listen, read, and find the opposites of the words in the box to complete the table. Then check your answers in the dictionary. Let's read this note. The opposites of many English words are formed by adding a negative prefix, for example, an or this, to the words. Now let us read these words. Healthy, suitable, natural, advantage, like, and it is a verb, appear, agree, necessary, friendly, and certain. Now, pause the video, then find the opposites of these words here to complete the table. Now let's check your answers. Healthy, unhealthy. Appear, disappear. Suitable, unsuitable. Agree, disagree. Natural, unnatural. Necessary, unnecessary. Advantage, disadvantage. Friendly, unfriendly. Like, dislike. Let's read this language plus. The opposite of the verb like is dislike, while the opposite of the preposition like is unlike. And here like is a verb, so the opposite of like is dislike. And the last one, certain, uncertain. Good job, my students. Now open your workbook, page 75, exercise A. Complete the sentences with the opposites of the words in the box. Number 1. This shirt is unsuitable for work. You should wear something more formal. 2. Fahad is uncertain about what he will do in the future. Now, pause the video, think, then complete. Let's check your answers. Well done, my students. Now let's move to the second part of our lesson today, which is grammar. Look at this table. Here we have comparative and superlative. We use the comparative of adjectives when we compare two people, animals, or things. Only two. We use the superlative of adjectives when we compare one person, animal, or thing with several of the same kind, more than two. And here we have short adjectives and long adjectives. Let's see the rules. With the comparative, we use the adjective plus er plus than. For example, Ali is taller than Khalid. Here we compare between two people, Ali and Khalid. And the adjective is tall, we add er to the short adjective plus than. With long adjectives, we use more plus the adjective plus than. For example, iPhone 5 is more expensive than Nokia. In superlative, we use the plus adjective plus est and the plus of or in, of all or in the world or in the class. For example, Nasser is the tallest in the class. With the long adjectives, we use the plus most plus the adjective plus of or in. For example, iPhone 6 is the most expensive of all. Now let's move to the grammar reference in the student's book, page 121. And here we have some spelling rules for adding er or est to the adjectives. Pause the video, then read these spelling rules. Let's move to the student's book, page 79. 3. Grammar. Comparisons. Exercise A. Look at the examples and answer the questions. Here we have 4 examples, and here we have the questions. Now pause the video, read the examples, then answer the questions. Then come back to check your answers. Now let's check your answers. Example A. Baines is healthier now. B. Life in the city is more stressful than life in the country. C. The most difficult part was telling his friends and family. D. This is the happiest time of his life. Now let's answer question number 1. Which of the examples above include adjectives in the comparative form? Comparative. When we compare between two people, two things, or two animals. Excellent, my students. In exercise or in example A and B. A and B we have comparative. Er and more with long adjective. And here we have than. Excellent, my students. Adjectives in the superlative form. Which examples? Very good, my students. C and D. Because here we have the most with the long adjective, and we have the and est with the short adjective. Number 2. Which word do we usually use after adjectives in the comparative form? In the comparative form, which word? Excellent, my students. Than. Before adjectives in the superlative form, which word? Very good, my students. The most, or the happiest. Great job, my students. Look at this boy, Ali, and this girl, Mona. Ali is as tall as Mona, which means Ali and Mona are equally tall. Look at this rule. As plus adjective plus as. We use this structure when two people or two things or two animals are the same tall or the same size or the same thing. We use this structure as plus the adjective plus as. Here is Ali and here is Ahmed. Ali is not as tall as Ahmed, which means Ahmed is taller than Ali. Here we compare between Ali and Ahmed. Look at this structure. Not as plus adjective plus as. We use this structure to compare between two things or two people or two animals. This is exercise B in the student's book, page 79. Read the example and decide what it means. Choose A, B, or C. His new job isn't as stressful as his old job. Now pause the video, read the options, then choose the correct one. Now let's check your answers. What does this sentence mean? A, B, or C? Very good, my students. It's B. His old job was more stressful. Well done, my students. Look at Ahmed and Rashid. Ahmed is less active than Rashid, which means Rashid is more active than Ahmed. So less is the opposite of more. Look at this structure. Less plus adjective plus than. We use this structure when we compare between two people, two things, or two animals. Look at Sultan and look at my friends. Sultan is the least active of all my friends, which means all my friends are more active than Sultan. Look at this structure. The least plus adjective plus of or in. This is superlative form, and we use this structure when we compare one person or one animal or one thing with several of the same kind. This is exercise C in the student's book, page 79. Read the example. Which of the sentences that follow are true and which are false? I think golf is less exciting than football, but tennis is the least exciting of the three. Read the sentences and decide which are true and which are false. Pause the video, think, then answer. Now let's check your answers. 1. Football is more exciting than golf and tennis. That's right, it's true. 2. Tennis isn't as exciting as golf and football. Very good, my students. It's true. 3. Golf is the most exciting of the three sports. Excellent, my students. It's false. Why? Because golf is less exciting than football, and football is more exciting than golf. So, golf is not the most exciting of the three sports. That's why this sentence is false. Well done, my students. Now let's move to the student's book, page 121. Grammar reference. Look at this table. Here we have irregular forms of adjectives, positive form, comparative form, and superlative form. Good, better, the best. Bad, worse, the worst. Far, farther, or further. The farthest or the furthest. Many, much, more, the most. Little, less, and the least. This is exercise D in the student's book, page 79. Complete with the correct form of the adjectives in brackets. Add the where necessary. Let's do 1 and 2 as an example. Since I started going to the gym, I don't feel as exhausted as I used to. Here between as, we use the adjective as it is, without any change. I am active and feel energetic than before. Excellent, my students. Here we use more active. Why? Because here we have than. We compare between two things. Now, pause the video, then complete. Now let's check your answers. Feel more energetic than before. Here we use comparative because we compare between two things, and we have than here. 2. Quieter or more quiet and more peaceful than the city. Here we compare between two things or two places, and we have than here. As exciting as. Between as, we use the adjective as it is. Certainly is less stressful. Less is the irregular form of little in the comparative. For me, the city is the worst place a person can live. Here we use the superlative. And the worst is the irregular form of bad. Here we compare one thing with several of the same kind. 3. My friend Majid is the most outgoing person I know. Here superlative, the most, because we compare one person with several of the same kind. Has more friends than me. Comparative. As good as. Between as, the same adjective. And warmer, friendlier, or more friendly than I already am. Comparative here. We compare between two things, ER or more. Well done, my students. Now open your workbook, page 75, exercise C. Complete using the correct form of the words in brackets. Add the where necessary. 1. My new flat is more comfortable than my old one. Firstly, it is bigger. Now, pause the video, then complete. Now let's check your answers. Well done, my students. This is exercise E in the workbook, page 76. Rewrite the sentences using the words in blue. Number 1. There is less traffic in the suburbs than in the city center. Here we are going to use more. The city center has got more traffic than the suburbs. Now, pause the video, then rewrite. Let's check your answers. Well done, my students. This is the end of our lesson today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.